self-conscious here. This is some fucked up shit.
I mean,
I don't know. You sound about the same on both. But anyways, I'm going to do the intro real quick, guys. So this is the... Yeah, I'm going to do the intro. This is the...
Intro?
Yeah, this is the intro. I'm about to do the damn intro. Let me do the intro here. Hey, so this is the Dangerous Game Podcast. I'm the host, Cosney, and I'll be joined this episode by Pred, Shogun,
Oh, yeah.
Frost,
Hi.
and the silent but deadly Baron. And thanks to Baron for doing the concept art at the very beginning, or that goes throughout the podcast that everybody gets to look at if they want to. If you haven't figured this out, there's no video to this podcast. This is all going to be sound, and it's just us talking about League of Legends, be it our experience or be it the recent patches and fun stuff like that. So, to start us off...
I am already in an ARAM.
Frost is in an ARAM currently because he decided, he wanted to play, but he still wanted to be a part of this.
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
Teemo. I got first blood.
That's fun.
Wouldn't
And,
this kid here.
I'm doing Teemo things, as in
Teemo
being
things.
really annoying
All right, fun.
and stealing kills.
But what I wanted to start off the bat here is by, talking about the concept art. Have all of you seen the art that Baron made for us?
I haven't.
Depends on what it was. Which one it was.
Okay, so
No, I
the
haven't.
art, I'm going to share that with you guys in Skype just so you can see it as well. And there's a ton of penguins spammed in Skype.
I'm okay with this. I'm perfectly okay with this.
Okay, well, we're gonna find a image, and I'm gonna share it with you guys real quick. But in the meantime, I'd like you guys to, say something, enjoy, speak.
Copyright.
That's probably copyrighted. We're gonna be in trouble for that one. Fun.
It's not that. I think it has to be like 30.
I think.
It can only
Oh,
be like
I killed Talon with a mushroom.
There you guys go. You can look at that file I just sent to everybody there. Also, so we got into a conversation earlier on this week, right, where we were talking about the outside of Frost because he wasn't there.
Yeah.
But we got into that conversation of talking about the patch and discussing different things in the patch that we wanted to talk about. And I told you guys to research it and read the patch. Did either of you actually do that?
Which patch are you talking about?
The most recent patch. So
I got told to
The
do
one
that.
with the few masters?
I believe it was
Master patch.
5.24, the one that came out a couple weeks ago. And there's
I
still
looked up
penguins
some
being
stuff
spammed
about
in
it, so I
Skype.
haven't, gone through it all.
Yes.
You did?
Answer is yes.
Yes, I feel like you're lying to me, but there's the great thing about this not being a, video recorded one and just being all sound. All right, gentlemen.
You could just say things in the patch and then have us react to them.
All right, fine. You know what? I'm opening up the patch now so I can just read it real quick.
Some of the patch notes.
Okay, did you study Hecarim at all like I asked you to? Did you read up on
the
it?
fucking the minion blogging.
Yeah.
I'll be able to answer all of
Good job.
your questions. In
So we're gonna
20
start.
Hecarim was the thing
Fine.
that-
So we're gonna start this off with the nerf to Anivia then, because I know neither of you probably read this, and I want to hear your opinion. And Frost hears, Frosty
Oh,
and such. He should
Anivia's
know
been
Anivia.
nerfed. I think I actually missed that one. Or I might have
Anivia.
read it, but
It is a
Really
very
not.
minute nerf that a lot of people glanced over because it didn't affect her all that much. It affected her enough, but not too terrible. So chilled,
yeah.
the chilled duration
1
on it
Oh,
is
yeah.
reduced to 1 second, and the maximum range of her ultimate cast is to 1,000 from 1,200. How do you guys feel this affected her? Because I heard, if you guys didn't watch Freeze's
I'm
stream
actually
this
playing
morning,
against an Anivia right now, so...
did you guys watch Freeze's stream this morning by chance?
Who the fuck is Freeze?
Good job. That's a great amount of knowledge there. Freeze is a Diamond 1 Anivia main, and he only plays Anivia. He's a one-trick pony in that regard. He is also a friend of Miles. That's why I assumed you guys might know who he is.
I heard the name. I don't actually. know.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've-
Okay, so his response to the nerf was that it was just, nothing. It really didn't affect him that much. Good God, there's a lot of penguins in Skype.
Baron had a
It
comment
occurs to
on it
me,
as well.
um,
She said it affected little bitch. You can't even see this. Ha 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 ha. That's what Baron said.
She also said fuck Freeze. So we'll tell Freeze that she wants to 1v1 him. But
It occurs to me actually that
but
wasn't it the wasn't it just the ultimate's application of chill that was affected?
yeah, so the duration of chilled from the
Yeah.
ultimate was reduced to 1 second. All the other abilities still last that 2 to 3 seconds, whatever it was on them.
Yeah. I
The
think
only
it's,
other ability is Q that does that. So why do you think they did this, and how badly did it affect her in actuality, though?
Honestly, they probably did it because a lot of there's been times whenever I'm playing Anivia as a mid laner where I drop down my ultimate to get a very quick use of the crit for my E, and that probably if they get out of the ultimate's range in time before I can cast my E, then that's still I still have 2 seconds for that when they leave. So that reduced the amount of time that Anivia players had to actually get up in range to E people in their ultimate.
Yeah.
Is one thing, but at the same time, most of the time you did that when you were already in E range anyways.
Yeah.
Hence why it wouldn't be very as effective as people might think.
Nivea is a frosty little hoe. Another lovely comment from Baron.
Nice. We'll make sure to
Thank you,
just
Barrett.
have that in there. But so like I agree with that statement. I feel like this nerf, while it wasn't that big, has really changed who's going to be playing her. Because now it's a little bit more difficult to play her because you don't have the safety of that extra 200 range on your ulti to put it away on people. You also don't have the chill duration. So really, if you want to get that E off without having to use your Q, or if you miss your Q and you want to get that R, you really have to land that wall to knock them into the ult so that you can throw the E and hit them and get that extra damage. So, I mean, it really makes you have to be a little bit more mechanically reliable on the champion, even though it doesn't seem like it's that big of a nerf in actuality. It didn't change any of her damage, which is interesting, but it did change how you can apply it. So we're going to go back to Hecarim, because, I asked if you read him, and you're like,
Oh,
the
what about
minions
Bard?
thing. Oh, okay, the Bard thing? You want to go over the Bard thing that happened?
He gets faster meeps and higher heal.
Yeah, so I don't think this is that big of a buff.
I think it's.
I'm
the
sorry,
heals
I'm
of
sorry,
some-
real quick. I'd like to interrupt and just draw attention to the fact that Teemo's global taunt still exists. It was not removed in this patch, as I can attest to by the fact that Warwick has ulted me every time he can.
I don't think they're ever going to remove that. And for anybody that doesn't understand that joke, it is an old-seated joke that Teemo's global taunt is that everybody focuses a Teemo if there's a Teemo in the game.
Yep.
So the thing they did to Bard this patch, Bard's passive's recharge rate, the Meep recharge rate, was 10 seconds. It is now 8 seconds, which means Meeps pop up faster. They come back faster. His W, Caretaker Shrine, which is his heal, went from a minimum ratio of 0.3 ability power to a maximum went from a 0.2 ability power minimum ratio to a 0.3, and its maximum went from a 0.45 to a 0.6, which means he heals a bit better. And this really wouldn't mean that much, except for a lot more people are starting to take the mastery in the second tree, Cunning Tree, I believe is what that one is. I can't remember. But the one that increases your heals and shields by 10%.
I just forgot the name.
Yeah, it's not
I
Storm
knew
Raider
what the name was,
Surge,
but
and it's not
I
Thunderlord's
completely
Decree.
forgot.
What is that one? I can't think of that one right now.
Wind speakers.
Windspeaker's Blessing. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that one was it's not that big because Bard has also not gone up in a play rate or anything, and his win ratio really hasn't been affected by this. I think it just allowed Bard players to be able to feel like they're doing effectively something when they have to go off and get more chimes to get more meeps. It's a possibility that's what they're aiming for. It might have just been a small tweak just for randomness. The one right below it is a big change that I went over with you guys earlier this week that none of you really thought was that big and affecting the champion, which was the brand change. So
Oh yeah, his mana.
they changed the mana cost on everything except for the base of his W. So it only changed with the W's mana cost, by the way. But all of the ones that follow his base cost have been increased by a ratio of, now they scale by 10 opposed to 5. So the first one is a 5 mana increase cost. That one's not that big a deal. It stinks a little. It's not that big a deal. The next one is a 10 difference. The next is a 15, and the following one is a 20. that final extra 20 on the other cost means that later on, as you get W to maxed area, it's going to be harder to be able to spam that and hurt people. So why do you think, how do you think this is effective, Bran? Have you guys seen any change in how much he's been played or how he's been played?
Nah, I don't see him played ever, like, at all, as much as I did before, so. Yeah, like, he really hasn't changed his
Has it?
popularity of him.
So was he? So is he being played the same, or was he just not being played at all beforehand for you? Either way.
Well, I mean, I see him every, like, obviously I see him every now and again, but, like, he's just as uncommon as he was before, so I don't think it really has made that much of a difference, because he's not in a state where it's, oh my god, this is meta, this is the most effective, tactical advantage to take in a game, so I'm going to play him. It's more so like, if you want to play him, you like the champion, you know how to play him, or you're trying to learn the champion because you like his appeal for you. So basically what I'm saying is, either it's going to people who are going to be playing him are either trying to learn how to master him, or they already have and they just want to play him because they enjoy playing.
All right. See, that's an interesting thought on it. I want to remind anybody that's listening to this podcast, this is from the point of view of somebody that does not play ranked. So that little sentiment was from somebody who plays a lot in normals, which means he's not seeing Brand a lot in normals. I, on the other hand, play a crap ton of rank, and Brand was popping up a lot prior to this patch, and after this patch, his play rate was roughly the same from what I can say, but he started petering off recently as people started kind of feeling the brunt of this nerf on him. It just
I've actually just pulled up the patch notes just so I can confirm what you guys are talking about, and yeah, actually I can see how that can hurt Brand players, because a lot of the times we max W first, which is what the Pillar of Flame being one of his highest damaging abilities.
Yeah, it is.
Especially if you get the extra damage from Blaze on a target.
Yep. Would you rather take Deathfire Touch on him or Underlords?
Deathfire Touch.
I still like DFT on him, even with the nerf on it. Like, they're in the patch notes, they even mentioned, we nerfed his mastery for him, but he's still good, and it's true. DFT is still good on him though.
The thing about Deathfire Touch is it applies during his passive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
just
is
like
huge.
all other spell effects.
Which is huge. Here's an interesting thing though. So the Mundo nerf. Did any of you kind of think of any opinions on this? Because this is another one that we talked about.
It doesn't feel like it well, in fact, nerfed him all that well. I don't know. That's from someone who doesn't really play him that much. I don't really pay that much attention to him unless he's on the enemy team or on my team.
So
usually he either does really well or really bad.
So the impact on him in the late game really wasn't that huge, except for Jungle Mundo.
It was meant to affect his early game.
Yeah, and it did. It certainly messed up his early game some, but it really more affected his jungle clear. Because if you read, there's the maximum damage to monsters was reduced quite a bit. Like, his Q's damage to monsters has been reduced greatly because he's just having such an easy time clearing jungle and being able to just force ganks really fast because of that. And he can still be that stupid monster, but that's only due to the fact that there's a mastery out there that people are starting to realize, hey, this mastery is not shitty. Mastery ends up being Grasp of the Undying because it takes percentage. 3% of your maximum health is then dealt to your opponent, and you heal that much. So that's pretty ridiculous, especially on somebody on Mundo where you can just build crap tons of HP and start beating the crap out of people with it. Yeah. Any champions you guys specifically wanted to talk about? Anything like that?
I'm just glad that they removed the fact that you can use masochism on structures. I don't like it when champions can actually use abilities on structures because it's not very common for champions to actually be able to do that.
See, but it's still an auto attack, though. Like, that was an empowered auto. I feel like that was an interesting change on their part. I understand the reason they did it. He was really good at taking towers and all, but I feel like it's an awkward change because there's still a lot of other champions that have empowered attacks that can do it.
Like Kassadin and
Fizz. Kassadin, Fizz. Red buff now applies to towers, which is a really weird thing. That happened, and
It was to give red buff a little bit more utility, just because it was very much a one trick pony, honestly.
Yeah, you gave it to your ADC so they can kite better, is essentially what you
and
did
that
it
was
for.
it.
And, like, it's just so weird.
It
Another
was
thing
pretty
I
much
found...
entirely useless on other people.
So another thing I found stupid is prior to this patch, Thunderlords is seeing minute play. It was a pretty good buff. It started doing pretty well. And it actually, you know, the buff prior to this patch to Thunderlords made people start using it more often. The buff they gave to it this patch made it the most dominating thing in the game, though. Did you see what they did to it in this patch? Which really shouldn't have affected it that much.
Hold on. What exactly was the change this patch?
This patch, the ratio of attack damage that you added to it. So your bonus attack damage went from 0.2 to 30. So it went from 20% added to 30% of your bonus attack damage added. So that doesn't seem like it's that big, but now people have more incentive to take that scaling, you know, mastery over in the ferocity tree, the one that gives you AP and AD as it scales per level, because then it stacks with Thunderlords really nicely. I mean, it doesn't do much, but it just puts you, you know, you could be, oh, I'm one off from getting that extra damage, and look, you have that one now because you leveled. You have just enough because of it. And, I mean, it added enough. Along with, prior to Thunderlords, so on the same tree as Thunderlords, is Precision, which got buffed. It went from 5 and 3 and 0.03 per level to 5 base plus 0.5 per level. So your armor pen is going up, which makes, you know, Thunderlords does magic damage and everything, but you take it a lot on those AD range champions, and pretty much everybody takes it now, but like on ADCs, it just made it so much nicer. So, like, there was a couple of mastery changes. The Wind Speaker's Blessing, so we were talking about that earlier. They changed that, too. So now it adds, instead of 15% of their armor and magic resist, it's a flat number that scales.
Yeah, the 4 to 22 armor, and then 2 to 11
Yeah.
magic resist.
And then, the Assassin one, I haven't really seen it do too much other than the Assassins. I've actually started to see some play again.
Kazakhs, my nigga.
Kha'Zix, Rengar, you know, Zed, Talon, they're starting to see a little bit of play again, and they're not bad now. They were really bad last patch, and then this patch, you know, it helped resolve a few things. Fervor got changed up to make it a little bit better in terms of balance, at least. Warlord seems like it's kind of bad, but it's still seeing some usage.
Warlords isn't necessarily bad. It's just it's no longer, oh, I hit something, I heal. It's you have to actually be in combat with a champion. Is pretty much the caveat. The caveat.
So they nerfed the Farsight alteration, but yet it's still really, really good just because it's that ranged infinite ward until somebody kills it. Not everybody's paying attention to it. They did a buff to Phantom Dancer, which apparently nobody noticed because I don't see anybody building it still. It was a 5% increase to the attack speed it gives you, which is still pretty lousy. It's still not that great of an item. They nerfed the cost on Triforce, which is a huge, you know, it's only 100 cheaper, but that's still a pretty decent, you know, add in there. But they then, you know, made the cost a little different by upping Zeal's cost. So it's, you know, it's give and take. It's the exact same price either way, but it's weird. There's nothing really else to talk about from the patches themselves, because like Ginsu's got nerfed, but it wasn't that big. It didn't affect its overall damage. Deadplate got nerfed. There's some changes to the jungle, and some other champion changes. Unless any of them really stood out to you as one that was actually pretty big this patch. What do you guys want to talk about about this patch? What's really been happening with you guys?
Well, I'll just make the statement about their minions. The behavior that they said about minions won't gang up on a single enemy minion when no enemy champions are nearby. That's a crock of shit. I've actually seen that happen quite a few times.
It's during the first part of the game, I haven't actually seen that happen.
I still have.
I haven't seen it happen at the beginning like they said they fixed it. It still happens throughout the game, though, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh no, there's a Warwick chasing me.
There was the pathing thing, so they had to go back on how they
Yeah, they
fixed
had to undo
pathing.
the pathing because
Yeah.
it just made pathing so much worse.
Yeah.
So they reverted to how it used to be.
Shogun, you're really not putting that much input in here, buddy. What did you like about
I
this
don't have-
patch?
Honestly, there's not really anything that I liked or disliked. It was kind of just some of this, a lot of
actually-
the stuff that was
I just
there.
don't like how strong Thunderlords is right now. Like,
I would-
God.
Real quick, I would just like to talk about a change from a very much a patch from a very long time ago. Remember how they changed Teemo's mushrooms?
Yeah.
What about him?
The ability to actually toss them at a range and whatnot. Like in this past game of me actually playing as Teemo, I haven't been able to play as him much recently, but I've been seeing a lot of use out of that. It's
Oh, yeah,
actually
he has a
really
huge
really
range.
quite good. I've had to fight in team fights because of the Nayram, and being able to toss these shrooms into the middle of them, even though their Alistair has a Hex Tech Sweeper, which means they can see where my shrooms are. I've actually been able to toss them out in the middle of team fights, and they do quite well.
Tossing them out, them bouncing off of other shrooms.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's
Quite
mostly the ability to toss them at a range.
Yeah. Instead of having to literally walk up and plant them.
hmm I can stay back and play like an 80 carry would.
Okay. You guys have seen the new spoiler type stuff, right? Hints at the new thing that's coming.
The Jedi thing.
The Deadeye
Yeah, I'm
thing.
saying it's a champ. I'm saying it's some fucking weird champion.
So a lot more theories are coming out that it is a champion. There's a lot more theories to it, specifically that it's a champion targeting other champions that have desire, or was it like desires of something? Ponce did a nice video on it, and it was about what he thinks it is, and he also kind of dug into people that kept making up theories that were based on absolutely nothing, which was pretty interesting and funny. Let's see. There hasn't really been much that has happened in the recent, like pro scene or anything. Seeing as Worlds ended up, a while back, and they did the All-Star stuff, which really didn't have effect on anything. It was more goofy than anything this year.
Yeah.
There really wasn't anything in the news recently that's actually been that huge. I really wanted to talk about something that popped up in the news or anything, and the most recent thing I can think of that was anywhere near interesting was the double lift thing, where double lift went over to TSM, and then there was the big scandal not scandal, but like there was sides being drawn between him and Hotshot type thing. And
yeah.
everybody kept saying Hotshot's in the wrong because he shit talked double lift and stuff, and then double lift kind of didn't shit talk back, and so everybody was. So there was some interesting things about that, but I couldn't find much. Did you guys really find anything that stood out to you in League of Legends news recently, or?
I
Not
don't.
really.
I came across it. I watched Sky's video on it, obviously, but I haven't really paid that much attention to it or dug into it because it's like the team owner lost one of his star players. Basically, of course, he's going to be bitter about it, and I don't exactly know why Doublelift decided to go over to TSM and leave Aframu and the brand that he's been with since forever.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever reason that would be, that would have to be a really damn good reason.
Pretty sure he got kicked out of CLG.
Something that I did find interesting. I forgot to mention it. Echo Fox. Have any of you heard of it?
No.
Echo Fox?
Echo Fox is the new team to replace Gravity. It is owned by former basketball athlete Rick Fox.
Echo Fox.
Motherfucker. So he bought. It was reportedly a $1 million deal to buy the slot and make his own team. The owner is Rick Fox. Look him up if you don't know anything about him. His current, people that I saw that he picked up towards his roster, which is not official yet, but people he's looking at and picking up. Sheep for support. Police. Never heard of him, but he's from a team. What team is this? This is.
Chinese.
I think it's a Chinese team. It's Ever. A South Korean team. It's one of the lower tier South Korean teams, I guess. Kian, who's, Gravity, former mid laner. Eve from Samsung Galaxy. And And he hasn't picked anybody else for, top lane. He hasn't gotten a top laner for the team yet. There's also a couple of other things that I've picked up recently. There's a team called Ember, which is another North American team. They acquired C9 Tempest's Challenger Series spot, so this is a Challenger Series team. Their team is Solo, Contracts, Golden Glue, Benjamin, and Glebe. And something that came out recently about them was their salaries. So get this. So on this page, their salaries are posted. Solo is getting $86,000 a year. Contracts is getting $70,000 a year. Golden Glue's at $92,000. Benjamin's at $75,000 a year, and Glebe's at $72,000 a year.
Okay,
And this
those
is
guys wow.
and these are not even pro team yet. This is Challenger Series trying to qualify. These are lower end people.
Oh my god. Okay, there's oh wow, jeez. If he's paying that much, he's making an investment.
Like this isn't Fox's team. This is a different team. This is Team Ember. This is North American, and the way it reads here is Ember was formed in December 2015 when a new organization called Team Elemental acquired C9 Tempest's NA Challenger Series spot. So this team is not pro yet, and they're making crap tons of dough each person. This isn't counting, any stream or anything. This
How
is
are they making that much money?
this is who I don't know who their sponsor is. It doesn't mention who their sponsors are. It says their CEO/co-founder is Jonathan Pam. Also, his ID is not Vert. They have Bao as their general manager. Fire Tiger is their partnership manager, and Mason is their league operations. So, like, these are people I haven't really even heard of. I've heard of Bao once, but, like, the rest of them I don't really know much of, and I don't know much about. I know most of the people who are on the team itself. Like, I know of them. But it's just ridiculous to see that these people are making this much money. It makes you think how much are the, like, really goods like Bjergsen and Faker making now.
Okay, can you send me a link?
Yeah. Here's the link to it.
Wow, that is a lot of money to be playing a video game for.
Stop
I
spamming
understand that it's-
penguins everywhere.
Yeah. Oh,
Top jungle.
But there was another thing. I was reading up on teams because there's all this change in the teams and stuff.
yeah.
There was one more thing that I'd found interesting before, and I just kind of lost it myself right now. I just couldn't remember what it was. It was something that was outside of the confirmed that Yellowstar is the support for TSM. Peekaboo was in tryouts and decided not to join them. Huni is no longer the top for Fnatic anymore.
Yeah. Isn't he on TSM now? Yeah, he is.
Him and Rainover went over. No, Huni's not on TSM.
Wait, what?
They're both on Immortals.
Oh. Oh yeah. Oh, what?
Huni and Rainover both went to Immortals with Pobelter, Wild Turtle, and Adrian. So Huni decided
Oh,
to
yeah,
stay top.
Hollister's on TSM.
They have Huni as top on Immortals, along with Rainover as jungle.
And double
Pobelter is the mid. ADC is Turtle, and Adrian is the support. That to me sounds like one of the greatest potential teams they could have gotten. They also got Porpoise Pops as one of their backups, along with Golden Glue, Dodo, and Nien. So all the people that were Team 8 last are just kind of like tossed to the wayside here. Dodo became a coach for the team. Like they changed up a lot of things in the LCS, so there's going to be a lot of different teams with a lot of different people on it now. So the American LCS is going to be like overran with Koreans and other people this year. It's going to be crazy.
NA is it makes Reckles. I think it was Reckles, or maybe it was someone from Fnatic. I forgot who they are. They all look the same. Almost all of them do. We're talking about Mooney leaving, and he said that NA pro players make almost 3 to 1, like 3 times as much money as EU players. He then went back to say, well, not exactly 3 times, probably like anywhere from 2 to 3, so about 2.5 times as much. But NA players just in general make more money we may do the worst out of all of the other regions, but we do make money.
So here's some interesting things, though. Do you guys know who Freeze is?
Well, I do now.
Okay. No, not the Freeze I was talking about. The Freeze from Europe. The Freeze I was talking about was an American Freeze who was an Anivia main and only played Anivia.
No, I don't know who this
Yes,
European
you
is.
did actually mention that person.
Okay, so I mentioned that person. The Freeze I'm now talking about, so this different Freeze, was the
Okay.
ex-ADC for Copenhagen Wolves, was considered one of the best, if not the best, ADC in Europe. He was one of the top 3 easy. Being Forgiven being one of the others, along with Reckless, of course. But Freeze left Copenhagen Wolves. He has tried out for 4 American teams, 3 of which he's unsuccessful. He is rumored to be going to Renegades here soon. Now, the 3 teams that he was unsuccessful of joining was Team Liquid turned him down. Piglet is supposedly still going to possibly be there on Team Liquid. X-Special is not. X-Special is gone. They replaced him with Smoothie. But Freeze did not get to replace Piglet. That was disproven, or was unsuccessful there. Same thing with Immortals. They turned him down, and they took Wild Turtle over him. And TSM turned him down and took Double Lift. So that's something that I found very interesting, because this is one of the top 80, acknowledged as one of the top ADCs in the world.
Well, I mean, he's also going against a world tier ADC who's been to Worlds and won Worlds, and then 2 homegrown talents.
Yeah.
So
This is I could see that, yeah. Who got EDC for more? Wild Turtle, who went to Worlds, didn't win. Double Lift went to Worlds, didn't win. Piglet did go to Worlds, won, got removed from Korea. That was an interesting turn of events on that one too, though. Dignitas has a almost completely new roster themselves. That one didn't seem that impactful. Cloud9 changed up their roster to get new people. That one was pretty interesting from a lot of people.
High's just bouncing all over the place.
So Gamsu went to Fnatic. So they lost Huni and picked up Gamsu from Dignitas.
That is Gamsu as an individual mechanically sound, and you think he'll do well on Fnatic?
He might. He might.
I've obviously, as Team Dignitas, I don't hear or see very much about them unless they do some
So-
upset.
So I played fantasy esports the last time in the NALCS. I had Gamsu, and he was one of the few bright spots from the team. He was pretty consistent and did pretty well most of the time. So the new roster for Fnatic goes as so. Gamsu's top. They picked up Spirit for jungle. That was cool. Reckless is still ADC and Feathervin is still mid. They picked up Noxiac as their support. So Noxiac was, for any of you that don't know, had been a support for numerous other teams. He kept moving around. He went to SK for a little while. He went to Giants. He went to MYM. He was in Fnatic Academy all before that, and then before that there was a few other teams I've never heard of. But he kept moving around because nobody was putting the time to put faith into this new unknown real player who showed potential and promise as a new support. But now he's made it onto the list of Fnatic. So that seems like Fnatic's either making a bold move or is making a bold statement that this guy has been undervalued by everybody.
We'll see, honestly.
So, what are y'all's predictions for the next season? Because this next season is coming up in January here, so it's
And he's
right
gonna
around the
win
corner.
Worlds.
And he's going to win Worlds?
Gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
honest, I don't have any predictions here because as much as I'd like to
Same.
be a bit more into the pro scene, I'm not.
Same.
It's just I'm more into what I'm doing rather than what others are doing. So
Honestly, everyone's shuffling everywhere. So it's literally going to be when the dust settles, whoever has the better team synergy, I think, So it honestly could come out to be anyone. Like we could see EU win Worlds this year.
Definitely
Like that's
sounds
obviously
like a toss-up
far
what I'm hearing.
at the end of it looks like it's gonna probably end up being like another toss up. But I'd say that going based off of the trend of world events, SKT is not gonna win Worlds, but it's going to probably end up being some other Korean or Chinese team.
Do you guys want to put bets on the LCSs to see who's going to be like number 1, number 2? Who do we think is going to be the top 3 teams in both LCSs? So like Europe top 3 teams and then America top 3 teams.
I'd have to sit down and
Mine would
look
be
at
based
each
on-
individual person on each individual team. And
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You can do that.
Personally, I'm gonna pass on that.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay, fine. We'll do it for the next episode. We'll make sure to everybody looks
I
up on the
will always
teams.
pass on that, but
No.
Giggles,
It's
I'll
not
take it.
actual.
I'm gonna
No, it's not going to be
win,
actual
but-
bets. It's just for the bragging rights and fun. We're putting that bet down as who we think's going to
Oh, the
actually.
TSM's going to be number 1.
That's your actual pick is TSM. Okay, what are your next 2 teams then?
Why, just because of fucking double it?
I mean,
You see, my pick.
TSM.
Once I know who Renegades picks for ADC, I'll know who I think will probably take it. Because if they get Freeze as an ADC, I'm going to say Renegades. Like, they showed a dominating force outside of, I mean, Team Coast looked pretty dominative, but then they got split the fuck up. And so that didn't happen. And so I'm putting my money on Renegades and a handful of other people. So, like, let's go Renegades, followed by TSM, followed by Immortals. That's my top 3 for the NA.
I
Anybody
don't
else
think
want to toss in?
Fnatic is going to do as well as they did this year in the
No
EU
hope.
LCS.
Cloud9. Dang.
You're putting faith in Cloud9 over there?
I want to.
I want to as well, but that's mostly because reasons.
Yeah.
I don't like Cloud9. Never have. I can't stand Sneaky and I can't stand Meteos.
Well, but
It-
Sneaky's not in Cloud9 anymore, is he?
See, when it was with the old Cloud9 for me, it was I liked them, but in small doses.
Is he
Oh, Cat,
solo?
what the hell are you doing?
Did Sneaky leave them now? Did Sneaky finally leave, or what happened
You
there?
sure? Well,
No, Sneaky's still there. His contract ends this coming year, though.
You got Rush as their jungle. You got Bunny Fufu as their
They have
support.
Jensen as their mid. I don't know Jensen. They also has Westerice is out of retirement as their sub now. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so like
Who's Jensen? What team was he on? Oh, okay. It's the same person. Okay, he just changed his name to Jensen now. What the fuck? Incarnation changed his name to Jensen, which is his last name. So he's now Nikolai Jensen.
Jensen.
he's following
Nothing.
Erickson's footsteps.
Nothing is going to beat though Joe Miller.
Miller. What?
Like he was if you guys didn't watch back in seasons 2 and earlier on in the NALCS or EULCS
I didn't even know.
and NALCS, there was a caster that kept going around and his name was Joe Miller. His in-game name was Joe Miller. So when other people announced him, it was Joe Miller. And he would get furious. He's like, "My name is not Joe Miller. It's Joe Miller." It was so great.
I'm just wondering. Like,
Just look up Joe Miller and you'll find him. He's a guy that was very
I'm-
iconic in
It
the
just
EU
occurred to me
scene.
that High's name is also High, so it's Hi.
mhm.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. That's just so amusing. Why? What?
I'm
Why?
just concerned on like why High was switched to support.
Yeah.
he even agreed on that one. So they brought in Rush. So Rush is obviously going to be the better jungler out of the two of them. Rush is experienced. I'm saying the right player, right? Yeah. I didn't want to be like Rush, and then it'd be like, I some reason kept getting Rush and Impact confused, and that sounds really racist, but it's just because, top and jungle are always put next to each other. So I couldn't ever remember which one was what. I didn't care about their team
I do
last year.
apologize to High for making fun of his name. That was-
Apologize to High. Nice. Call out, shout out like he's going to be watching this video.
like,
Listening
would,
to this,
but-
I say watching this video, listening to this
just on the off
podcast.
chance, I do apologize. for
The
making fun of
random
your
off
name.
chance that he's going to be there, yeah. But Rush is probably the better jungler of the two. But they didn't want to instantly throw Bunny Fufu in and have nobody immediate there to take over the reins of, hey, we're going to be teaching for shot calling. And so what they're doing right now is they have High teaching Bunny Fufu how to become a better shot caller so that they have somebody prepped if nobody else takes the reins as shot caller, if that makes sense. So High is there just to essentially, and so if Buddy Fufu can't really pick up being the shot caller, High's going to stick with it until he can. Is essentially, I think, was the goal they were initially going with at some point. It's also why Sheep is potentially on the roster, but now Sheep is on another team. He has a team, which I'm happy to see because, I'm happy that somebody from, at least towards the end of XDG, also known as Vulcan Gaming, is still around. Him and X-Smithy, of course, because go Vulcan. Vulcan was the best team ever. No one else but me believed it, but, it's a thing. Same thing with Copenhagen Wolves. They'll be back.
Oh, I just now, I'm looking at the patch notes. I just now noticed Malzahar's W damage is down. Not that much, but it is.
Yeah, it's a really minor nerf, honestly, but it's one that he needed just because that is
But I like doing
Per
8% max health.
that is. But here's the thing: that's per second.
Yeah, I know.
That added up. It's over 5 seconds, which ends
Yeah.
up being absolutely absurd.
Especially if
Like,
you can land an ult on him when they're in
Mhm.
there. Which is
That
the
goes
only
from
reason
being-
why you'd use it.
That drops it from 45 to 35% max health over the total duration if they're in it the entire time.
Wait, you said it was 8%, 8% a second, right?
Yeah,
It's
the old one
it's
was.
at max rank. It was 8% of target's maximum health per second. Now
For
it's
5
over-
seconds?
Yes, over 5
So
seconds.
that's only 40% there, buddy.
My brain.
Yeah.
40%. So it's still.
Yeah,
40
it's still,
no,
it's still.
yeah, it dropped from 40 to 30.
large
My
amount.
bad.
Yeah,
I
there you
added
go.
5 by accident. That was 9 and 7. What? Math. How does it work?
Yeah.
Well, you get a calculator.
No.
You'll learn. You'll learn eventually.
Oh. Yeah.
No. Just
Well,
random
that's cool, too.
random sounds in the League of Legends podcast.
No.
No, welcome to the Dangerous Game podcast. Now,
Hey,
Slow
real quick.
durations removed.
Real quick.
What's up?
Since we've jumped back over to the patch notes, can we talk about Soraka for a moment?
yeah, go ahead.
Why-
Just Soraka
What about her?
was a god.
Is a god. I
least-
don't know
at
what you're
least,
talking about.
Still is, but it's just between the healing from landing her Q, and the effects of the masteries, where you have Windspeaker's Blessing, which is the increased healing and whatnot, but also there's the more selfish version over in the Perseverance Tree. I think it's not that. No, it's not. Wrong name. Is it?
There's ferocity.
There's
Resolve.
Ferocity, Cunning, Resolve.
Yeah.
Resolve.
Hold on. Let me look in the actual.
The resolve tree has the strength of the ages, which is every time a cannon
Runic
minion
armor.
or big minion dies.
The one I'm
Runic
talking
armor.
about is Runic armor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is when you have 5 points in it. Give me just a moment. Where did I put? There it is.
Shield healing,
Yep.
regeneration, and life steal are stronger on you.
Are
by
8%, it's 8% stronger at 5 points. So the self healing from her Q, from her W when you land a Q, is affected by that. In addition with the Windspeaker's Blessing on her W, she was just so powerful. So what they did was dropping the range on her her Q actually is she's less safe doing it. She's less safe grabbing her heals, which is, I mean, it's not much, but still. Increasing the cost of her W, I've actually felt that the 1 or 2 times I've played Soraka. You can't just spam W anymore, which is a thing. And then finally, Grievous Wounds.
It now affects her. Woo! Ult does not remove
Ult
it.
doesn't remove it now.
But
Yeah,
here's the thing though. That honestly has no effect on Soraka aside from herself.
Yeah.
Because Grievous Wounds now only stops self healing.
Yeah.
So Soraka's ultimate would have full effect anyways.
So that was a change that I really hated, though, because you can't use it to stop Soraka. I mean, it's still effective against like Mundo and some other people, but like the fact that Grievous Wounds only applies to self healing now. It is any type of self healing, but it is
Yes.
still self healing, which is so
All self healing,
stupid.
regeneration from spells, potions, etc. etc.
Which means you really have to have Ignite to stop somebody from being healed by other stuff, which I felt the burn of quite recently.
Actually, no.
Yeah, Ignite affects it
it's-
still.
No, it does not.
It's all
Grievous
forms of
Wounds.
healings.
Hold on. They changed the tool. They must have changed the tooltip. I must have missed that. Because
I'm pretty positive Ignite is.
applying Grievous Wounds.
I thought Ignite was not Grievous Wounds, it's just any...
It's just true damage.
Yeah, it's true damage that prevents any heal.
I'm honestly all that aside, the more
Ignites
the one
ignites an enemy champion, dealing X true damage over 5 seconds, applying grievous wounds and revealing them for the duration.
Oh.
So,
whatever.
yeah.
Well, you know, I'm all of that all that stuff aside, the one support nerf I am the happiest about is Tom Kench's W. How it no longer gives you move speed when you're moving away from enemies with
yes,
powered
absolutely.
ally champion. I'm so glad. That was
So,
the most
it's...
rage-inducing thing I've ever experienced.
So, yeah, when he would run away and speed up.
Mhm.
It's still rage-inducing, though, to me, though, just because you still have to deal with the fact that he's just going to run over there and he goes, nom, and walks away. And it's just like, I can't do much on it.
The
But
thing
before
is,
it was
though,
like he's
Yeah.
just like I eat him and then I'm like the Tasmanian devil out of there.
yeah, it was nom me gone.
Yeah.
That's Roadrunner, not Tasmanian Devil, but
No, I meant Tasmanian devil because he freaking he spins in a circle and licks everything.
yeah, no. But no, with him no longer gaining movement speeds, things like slows are going to be more effective, as well as
Yeah.
just walking alongside them. They do have that moment of respite from your abilities while they're inside Tom's stomach, but he can't just get them away quite as easily.
So,
Unless, of course, there's an enemy in the direction he's running, in which case, well,
any thoughts there, Shogun? Anything you want to contribute to the conversation here?
Dead.
I'm a guest right now, and I've been doing more than I've been talking more
He's
than
just
you.
sitting there, it's like skeleton bolt.
Although all this talk,
He might be AFK. He might not actually be at his seat here.
Before he just like.
I think he snuck out and just be like, they ain't gonna notice.
They won't notice.
They ain't gonna know I'm gone.
they ain't gonna know.
Not even a goodbye, not a like,
Just
hey,
he left a
BRB.
clone there. He used Shaco's ultimate.
He's just using deceive.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's just good. No, so
Used mirror image.
Bryce trying to get Ziggs back in. I haven't seen a lot
shoot,
of Ziggs in the mid lane.
frickin' Baron's contributed more than Shogun.
Oh yeah, the
I've seen. Have you guys seen a lot of Ziggs gameplay?
Ziggs gameplay. So from the patch, you'd expect at least a little bit increase because everybody's like,
Yeah.
oh, I do damage to towers. There's been none. I haven't seen any Ziggs
He
pop up at
doubled
all.
his passive damage just now.
Yeah, it's now 100% to towers, and it's like, oh, that could be influential on something, and it really did nothing to change how.
Especially with red buff. Hey.
oh god with red buff.
That could be
He
fun.
just decides to spam spells.
That could be fun.
Well, I mean,
Just that early on, tossing a passive auto attack at the tower and walking away.
Yeah.
For harass on it. All this talk of League makes me want to actually play it and actually maybe try and play some of the champions we've been talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you could always do it. It's always a possibility.
hey, Rift Herald now gives Nunu a buff.
Yeah. Okay. So, have you guys gotten how many masteries do you have of champions? How many level 5 masteries do you
I'm
have?
fairly certain I have 5. see.
I
I
don't-
would have. I'm working on my 6th. Yeah, I am. With 6th and 7th with Kha'Zix and Malzahar. Speaking of Kha'Zix, I'm extremely glad that they added the Assassin Mastery. That has made his gameplay so much easier.
I only have 2 at level 5, but I've got like 6 others at level 4 and very close to level 5. So I don't know.
I have 8 at level 5, 7 at level 4, 4 very close to becoming level 4, and then the rest are level 3s. But, like,
Hold on, let's see.
yeah, so
Sorting
I'm
I
getting
only
there.
have
highest
one level
mastery.
4. Usually
Okay,
when I get a
so-
champion to level 4, I just keep playing him till 5. That's what I did with Assadin.
2
Oh,
level
Shogun's back.
5s. 1, 2, 3.
I had to go do
5,
something.
6 level 5s. 2, 3.
We tried. I tried tossing you into the conversation, and there was no
6,
response. And so
yeah.
Yeah, my
Welcome back.
mom needed me to do something.
All right, so then 6 level 3s. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Honestly,
9,
you could just
10,
ask.
11,
Like, we're
12,
better
13,
off just asking what's your
14,
mastery
16,
score. I'd tell you mine's 96.
17,
right now.
18, 19, 20.
okay, cool. Let's go to mastery score because you have to count a lot of shit over there. So let's.
26 level 2s, and then everyone else is level 1.
What's everybody else's mastery score, guys? Let's compare them.
Fucking hell.
Nah, I'm 96.
I mean, to be fair, you get more mastery score just from like playing more champions, but and getting that
Yeah.
just that 1 point. But yeah,
If you went through and you owned every single champion, you played a game with every single one, you'd have like
135 is what mine is.
Yeah, you'd have flake about.
Shogun.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Shogun has 143. He has like more than
Yep,
me.
there you go. 143.
I got 204.
Wait, how do I have more than
Nice.
you?
Cause I'm a basic bitch and I like to play. By,
Oh,
like,
you mainly do like just the 3.
Hold on.
I've tried. like,
Let's.
well, I'm the last couple weeks. I've just now recently like moved. Like said, screw the support role. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of just having idiot carries like put themselves in dangerous situations and died.
So that's another thing. So like, what is everybody's main? So I know like Shogun, you're a support main, right?
yeah, support top.
So same thing with you, there, Pred.
I mean, I'm moving away. I'm moving back to the jungle in the mid lane.
But you were a support main.
Yes, I was.
And then we're gonna say Baron's a support main to keep up stereotypes. Frost. FYI, if y'all haven't figured
mid
out,
and
Baron's
bot
a
lane.
woman.
Yeah, he's mid.
Mid and bot lane. So is it? So bot lane include both?
Yes, although more support than AD carry.
Okay, so that's 4 support mains in this group. And then you got you're
The
not a
struggle
marksman
is
main.
real.
Lies. You're more of a support.
Well, there's a reason why we're all like so
Wow.
low tier.
Rude.
There's
Baron's
cons over
a
here.
marksman main.
Lies. Nobody's a marksman main. You're an
Oh, yeah,
ADC
bullcrap.
or a support. Marksman is a
Yeah.
bullcrap role.
Honestly-
Shouldn't have ever been made.
Okay, honestly, no.
Actually-
Because how many AD carries have you actually seen carry?
I'm at least one example of
I
it on
act-
a usual
I actually
situation.
quite like them.
One,
Yeah.
That's one example. But like,
Freeze, double lift.
but that's also an LCS. You expect
Yeah.
You're asking for people to carry, bro.
I actually quite like
Or
them
game
changing
for
it to
people.
marksman simply because it's less of they're all AD carries and more they attack, they use their auto attacks to deal damage.
Yeah, that's also putting a lot of pressure on somebody who's playing that role.
Yeah.
It's ADC.
Like,
I
they
don't
have-
care. I'm still gonna call it ADC.
Yeah.
I've been doing that since season 3.
I still-
I've done
I
it
still
since
call- I
season
still
1/2.
Yeah,
I'm
It's
not gonna
more
stop
technical
using
term that
ADC,
people
but-
are just like too lazy to use.
Yeah, but so like I don't like the term
Granted-
marksman. It just seems like a silly term for it because like all the other
I mean,
roles,
Here's
you
the
know,
thing, though. You
Makes
have.
sense.
I'm just going to point out a few that are in that marksman category that aren't exactly AD carries. Teemo, Corky. There, I've pointed out two.
Corky. No. Corky
Cor-
is an
here's the
ADC
thing.
though.
Yeah, he can actually build, but he can also build for AP, and he can go for magic. He's heavy in magic damage, which is actually quite against what you'd think of when you say AD carry, attack damage. That's physical damage, right?
Well, I guess you can say the same. You can say the same argument for like fucking like Kog'Maw and Israel. Like
Yep.
they can build AP.
Yeah, there's many arguments that hey ADCs can be AP, but AP Varus no, not anymore. Fuck that shit. I mean it can happen, but no.
AP carry, not
Actually, AP Varus probably got buffed with the recent change to his ultimate, where it stacks up his blighted quiver.
That's true. I could see that. But so it's cool because it's now better for him against tanks, and there's been a little bit of a rise, and I've seen an amount of games he's been played. And I haven't tested him since then, and I probably should because he's one of my better ones. But I've been playing so much Anivia. Oh my god! Like I've played a lot of Anivia, a lot of Poppy recently, a lot of Alawi. Like these champions are just so good right now. And then I think Varus is probably really good just because you can usually see him as a lane bully.
Mm-hmm.
And
Charged
then
up Q does quite a bit of damage.
yeah, and if it's a squishy bot lane, like he just wins that lane. That is his lane to win. So let's talk about Gragas though. It's kind of weird to talk about a champion that hasn't been messed with for so long. But like earlier this season,
Oh my god.
he was the dominating force. Last season he was huge, and this season he was pretty big too. And then this summer they like changed a lot about him and nerfed him, and his play has been still seen quite a bit in LCS, and he's still done pretty well up there. But in like every other play, I have like a 40-something% win ratio with him, and I still somehow have a 20% better performance on low skill than the average player of Gragas, which is weird to think that I'm doing really well in my game, and yet I'm still losing a lot. So if that's the case, what the hell has happened to this champion? What do you think they need to do if this champion should they bring this champion back, or should they leave him in that kind of abyss of
Gragas.
shittiness?
Ooh.
I don't know. I feel like it's not. It's. I don't know, there's just better picks right now.
Yeah, he's just. I don't know. He's just not.
He doesn't do what people want. I don't think is what it is.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just-
just he's. Falling.
It's more so. He does do what people want, but there's just other champions that do it better.
Well, I mean, okay. Example, real quick.
like
Because I'm
freaking.
trying
What is it? His ult, like, isn't it Janna's who's been seeing like more play, and hers.
Well,
is
you
so-
also have to
it's
consider
also
that there's-
heals.
Now there's now Alawi, whose ultimate is more so the exact opposite of Gragas' ult, which is you want them all to be in an area instead of displacing them.
Yeah, but there's also champions that like.
So if that's the case, why hasn't Jarvan been picked up in jungle? Like
Because
with Alawi top and Jarvan combo.
Yeah.
Because it's extremely
Like a
easy to
couple
get out of
times.
his ult.
It's-
It's almost
Here's the thing. Gragas' ultimate. You said Janna, but Janna's is on the spot, on her. It requires her to actually like be in the middle of the enemy. Whereas Gragas can walk up and then toss his ultimate behind them to knock them back into him.
yeah.
In
If
order
you
to
can,
force them to go back in.
but then you'd have to be close enough to them as to where you aim behind them. And as far as I'm
Well, the
concerned,
same logic
his
applies to
ult-
Janna.
that
Yeah,
far-
but
Only
Janna
only
has
she
that
has a harder time
speed
getting up there.
yeah, but
She
that's
has
not.
a speed boost, but she has to be in melee. She has to like go walk past them in order to actually use her ultimate to engage.
It just depends on the situation.
Well, it's just with this type of thing, what is the practical use of Gragas in the current thing? Is he used as engage or disengage?
Oh,
Both.
Because if it's disengage, Janna definitely has him beat. But engage, like he's still one of the stronger engagers. It's just
The thing about
who's
Gragas is that he can do both very easily.
okay. But like, why is Malphite seeing more play than him right now?
no,
I mean, Malphite. I don't think has there ever been a time when Malphite didn't see any play at all?
Yeah, season 3, he
Yeah.
was pretty
Really?
much not seen almost at
Yeah,
all.
but he's like.
Really?
He's got
Yeah.
that strength and is still like extremely tanky, like way more tankier than Gragas can get.
Yeah.
While still building AP.
yeah, I can attest to the season 3 statement because I got so much flack for playing Malphite. I was like, back when I played nothing but top lane because I wanted to get left alone. I love Malphite. He's my favorite
Malphite is.
top lane.
Yeah, Malphite's really powerful.
I'd say it probably is the masteries that have just like affected them the most.
Masteries, yeah. I could see that happening. But some of the item changes I could see too a little bit. Maybe
Yeah.
like the sheen change a little bit. But that one's a weird one because not as many people use it. But like, I think right now top lane Gragas can be a really big thing. It's just not seeing the play that it should kind of receive.
Underlords on Gragas though.
Not
Thunderlords on
Thunderlords.
anyone,
Not
really.
Thunderlords. I personally still like DFT on him. Only because when you go in for that W, it gives you that little bit of finisher right there at the end of
I'm only
it.
playing during Korra, so I can't like.
But I could see Thunderlords still being pretty effective on him, though.
I could also see on Gragas the I'm forgetting the name. I don't use it because I don't play tanks, but
Even
it's Grasp of the Undying. There we go.
Yeah.
I can see that quite on him just because it works really well with his passive, being that he's in battle. He uses a spell. He heals up. He heals up based on his max health. He auto attacks at 4 seconds in. He heals up based on his max health.
Yeah, I can see that.
Hmm
I can see that being pretty good. All right, let's do a finish your subject real quick, and we're gonna end the podcast after it. So something I wanted to talk about was the play styles in your guys' divisions. Be it that most of you are all in the same division, I believe, roughly around that area. So
play style you speak of.
so like I recently, because I tell everybody, just got from Gold 1 to Platinum 5. Yeah, so he knew what I was going to say. But vegan, fuck you. I'm not a vegan. I love my meat. Anyhow, I don't care how gay that sounded, you homophobes. Anyhow,
Hey, what?
Hey, I'm the exact opposite, thank you.
okay.
Anyways,
Oh my.
Okay.
No, but
Right,
subject was in the different playstyles. There wasn't a big drastic change in who I got to see. Gold 1 and Plat 5. There hasn't been a drastic change there in terms of playstyle or anything. I've seen everybody play just as bad in both of them and just as good potentially in both. But another what I've realized is as this patch went on, at the very beginning of this patch, I was getting 20-minute games, like consistently 20 minutes and out, 21 minutes, 22 minutes, somewhere around there. And now, as the patch has gone on, it's gradually moving towards, like, I think now my average game time is like 27 minutes or roughly around there now. So, what have you guys been noticing?
Seeing quite a bit of surrenders, actually.
Have you guys seen those 20-minute surrender now?
We'll see shorter games because people know what the fuck they're doing. Shogun and I, we played a couple of duo queue.
Oh, God.
Oh, that was horrible.
Bad.
Let's just say we got stuck with a team that was about bronze, and they were the ones who were about gold to upper silver.
Don't you love when that happens?
Playstyle. But that we would have games that would go from.
No need to be
20
defensive,
to,
Baron. We all know you're
40.
bronze.
Well, if you're in bronze, you're in there for a reason. I'm sorry, bronze is extremely easy to get out of.
Oh yeah, it might take a lot of games, but it's less a matter of doing well, and it's more just playing.
It's just
do whatever. Honestly, you could do whatever and still get out of bronze.
You just have to have basic mechanical
Eventually.
knowledge and knowledge of the game.
I won 4 of my games in fucking.
I clawed my way out of bronze.
Okay, I remember a game where I was still in bronze, and my game crashed. I was playing Talon mid. My game crashed at the very beginning, so I get into this game 6 minutes late. I walk in and I proceed to just do what I do normally, and I ended up carrying completely. Literally, I did everything I normally do, and I ended up carrying. So it's very easy to get out of bronze.
Yeah, like I literally, as soon as my higher tier level friends like plats and diamonds, once they said, "Hey, you should play Tarek," and start playing him a lot, I was like, okay.
When was this? I've not heard anybody say, "Hey, you should play Tarek" for like 3 seasons now.
Exactly. This is back in season 3, season 3, season 3. When I was back in bronze, and as a support, I would either get an AFK ADC because we all know how bronze is like. Both those of us have been there.
Yep, it sucked.
And I would 1v2 win as Tarek because Tarek is just so strong.
Back then.
Well, he still kind of is now. A little bit. It's just for what he does, there's better champions. I think because you need to establish a presence in your lane in order to have them focus you. He doesn't have a blatant taunt. He has a stun.
He's got a great taunt, sir. Gems are truly outrageous.
Yeah, and
they are
it's got a
truly
very large flaw.
Outrageous.
Counterplay with the mute button.
Counterplay with the mute button. There you go.
But yeah, I literally clawed my way out of as Tarek, and then I went back to playing Leona.
Mhm.
And I remember last 3 days. This was last season of of ranked season. Not season 5, season 4. Last 2 or 3 days, I stayed up all that time, and I played nothing but solo queue and as Leona, and it was the easiest thing. I went from silver 5 to silver 3. So whether or not you're in bronze or silver, it's about the same because everyone's bad.
Thing I've noticed though, whenever I play with a lot of people that are like gold and higher.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm playing with them versus just queuing normally, I notice that there's actually a major difference in just how the enemy team tends to play. Like when I'm just playing normally, it's they tend to be a lot more spread out. They don't focus as much on vision, and they also tend to just ignore the fact that they can counter, say, Teemo on ARMs by playing or by buying a single item, things like that.
Yeah.
It's very much mechanical and just decisions. It's decisions. There we go. Decision making. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'd say that's indirectly how I got out of bronze. Is I started playing with my higher tier friends, and I eventually was forced to become more mechanically efficient, or not efficient, but proficient.
Yeah. When you play with higher tier friends, you eventually are forced to actually start playing better just to keep up.
So stop making
So advice for for all of you out there
that
that are still scrubs like these scrubs, play with higher tier
I am
friends,
silver 3,
and you will be less scrubby.
I'm silver
So
2.
where are you? Huh?
What am
Mr.
I?
Plat?
Platinum 5, sir. Thank you for noticing that. I'm
You
not
need to
scrub.
join us.
Gold 1.
In that case, you need to join us for this ARM as we close things out and show us
Oh
how it's done.
god, go to I hate ARMs, dude. Like that is single-handedly the
Alright.
worst thing Riot could have done was make that crappy game mode. They should have revived Dominion instead
No,
of
what they should have
being
done-
like, here, have Skarner, play Dominion now.
Here,
But, like-
what they should have done was they should have made hide and seek an official game mode.
Oh hell no. Oh god, that'd be horrible.
That would be interesting, actually.
That'd be
because
it would be
I'd actually
neat,
really
but
like
it would
to see
be
what they would
horrible
do with
still.
those two.
But I want to thank everybody for listening to this podcast. I know we got off topic there at the end. I appreciate
That's
anybody
to be
who ends up watching this, and if y'all enjoyed this, make sure to hit the like button or the subscribe here to my channel. Leave a comment below if you want us to talk about anything in the next podcast that we release. Or if you just want to leave a comment for us about, stuff that we said that you found interesting or stuff that you found offensive, whatever. The offensive one we won't listen to, but
Feel free to correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah.
We might not pay any attention at all to what's said to that.
yeah. But
Correct us.
I want to thank anybody and everybody who watched this, and I hope to see you guys next time.